let's go to wide receivers then. First up, I could see Kai being a contrarian here, but I think we probably have all the same one. Number one, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. I think he's the best player. I think he's the best receiver. I think he has the best quarterback. So I think that's a no-brainer. I think he's going to be the best player next year. I think he's going to be the best in Dynasty for years to come.
Yeah. He definitely has the best short-term and long-term hit rate for me. Like, he's probably going to be a top 15 receiver this year in redraft.
Yeah.
And he is the clear-cut number one receiver in Dynasty right now.
I wants to say something. He's got a shit-eating grin on his face.
No, I was going to say you were right. I was the one with the potential to be the contrarian because
I saw it in your eyes.
I was bouncing back and forth with it, and I was like, I shouldn't get too cute with it. But I do have a raging take.
All right, hit it.
Okay, so number 2, obviously, I have Malik Neighbors, but the raging take I do have. So Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Neighbors are both going to finish top 10 in fantasy this season, and Daniel Jones is going to win Comeback Player of the Year.
That's a turkey for sure.
That's a 4 turkey right there, dude. What the hell? Holy shit! What a take, dude! What a take! I love it, Kai. I fucking love that. That's a rager right there, baby.
I think Daniel Jones would win Comeback Player of the Year if he just stopped looking like a deer in the headlights on third downs.
Trust me, I believe in the talent so much of Malik Neighbors. I think he's going to elevate his play.
I mean, he comes in being the number one target easily, right?
Easy.
Brian Daboll can't fuck this up, right? I don't know. I don't think he's a bad coach. I don't know if he's a good coach, but I don't think he's I don't think he's an idiot. So I think you play Neighbors, you play the hell out of him because you don't have many other players that like Wan'Dale. I think we like Wan'Dale. He hasn't proven that he can be like a number one guy, though. I think we all like Jalen Hyatt here. He hasn't proven that he can be a number one guy. So you put Neighbors in at the number one, and then have Wan'Dale and Hyatt be like 2 and 3. Like Hyatt could be like the deep threat, maybe even like a slot guy. I don't really know if Hyatt's more of an inside or an outside player, but I don't know, man. I've started to talk myself into the Giants offense more and more too as the Neighbors pick has sunk into me. I don't think the Giants are going to be as dog shit as they were last year offensively. Are they going to be good? I don't know about that. I love the Comeback Player of the Year take because I do think that is possible. Like if Daniel Jones has the same season he did 2 years ago, which wasn't even that good. It was his best season, but it wasn't like amazing on NFL standards. I think that would be like grounds enough to give him Comeback Player of the Year, depending on who else is in the running that we don't even know about yet.
I mean, there's also just the potential that Daniel Jones and Malik Neighbors build this like kind of just connection, like just a good connection, and it just works out beautifully. So I know it's Daniel Jones, I know, but I'm feeling it.
They also have Darius Slayton, on the Giants.
True.
He wears number 86.
He does.
Jesus. And then they have Isaiah Hodgins, too. Another guy who's like a sneaky, decent, young wide receiver. So
and Wan'Dale Robinson.
Yeah, and then they also have Gunnar Olszewski. So.
Oh, who could forget about him?
Yeah.
Holy shit! Yeah, I forgot. They're stacked.
Yeah, they're stacked over there. Brian, who's your number 2?
My number 2 is Neighbors.
My number 2 is Malik Neighbors as well, and I think it goes off what Brian said. His talent's too good that he's going to produce even if Daniel Jones is his quarterback. But I definitely think I'm going to go ahead and my raging take is the New York Giants are going to have a different quarterback next year. There you go, Kai.
That's only a oneer. Next year is in this season upcoming or after the season?
No, after the season. Daniel Jones is going to be back in New York, dude.
That's a mild raging take. I think a lot of people think that.
I'm just being contrary to Kai. He says he's going to win Comeback Player of the Year.
Okay.
I think he's going to win himself a new contract on a new team.
Okay. Number 3 is Odunze for me. I could see where a couple of these other guys might have a better season next year. I don't know. I could also see Odunze just coming in and being really good right off the bat. Keenan Allen, I wouldn't call him injury prone, but he's not injury prone either. He has had history of occasional injuries. It's possible that he goes down again this year, potentially. This is also only a 1-year deal for him, too. So would the Bears even bring him back after this year, especially now that they have Odunze? Who knows? I think for Dynasty, for sure, he's easily number 3. I think for this year, he might not be, but I'm putting him there anyway.
Fair.
Believe in the talent.
Okay, so just to clarify, Odunze is not here at number 3 for me, but for Dynasty, he for sure is a number 3. I just don't think he's a immediate contributor right away, at least for fantasy. So number 3, I have Xavier Worthy. So just because of the Patrick Mahomes connection, I am banking on that to be good for Xavier Worthy. We don't know what's going to happen with Rashee Rice, and I just think the fit's perfect. I think that's Xavier Worthy at best could become like a diet Tyreek Hill.
Okay. Dylan, who's your 3?
Number 3, I have Xavier Worthy as well.
Xavier Worthy, okay.
I think coming into the season, he probably has better value this year than Odunze will. Mm-hmm. As much as Odunze might be on the field, I definitely think his full value is going to be set forth next year, the year after, that kind of thing. But I don't think Odunze is going to have statistically a bad year, especially being
no.
He is. But Worthy's coming in, he could be Mahomes' favorite target day one.
There's a chance, though, too, that he has to fight for his lineup spot, too, like Rashee Rice did. I would argue that Rashee Rice is probably a more complete receiver. Rice didn't really get a whole lot of playing time until, like, I don't know, halfway through the second half of the season, I feel like, where they started using him more often.
It feels fine. I just think Worthy will probably be involved in special teams as well, especially at the beginning of the year to get him, like, up to speed of the NFL game.
So let me ask you this. Odunze, will he have a better or worse statistical season than JSN did in his rookie year?
What was JSN's final stats again?
Let me take a look real quick. Because about the kind of like similar situations where he is, a very high picked wide receiver and he's going to go be like the wide receiver 3 right away, probably.
Yep.
Let me look up Jackson Smith and Jigba. He finished with 63 catches for 628 yards and 4 touchdowns in 17 games.
Okay, so I could see the yardage and the catches being similar for Odunze, but I kind of think Odunze can get more touchdowns.
Yeah.
I think that honestly that it will probably be a mirror.
Okay.
I don't see any reason why Odunze would get more catches than 60 plus. If that's the case, I think he's playing a lot more than he's splitting time with Keenan Allen at that point. Because I don't know how the Bears offense is going to technically look. Like what are we going to be doing, And it does kind of like whenever you say he was kind of in a JSN spot, Shane Waldron is the Bears offensive coordinator, the same offensive coordinator that gave JSN all those targets and catches and touchdowns. So it could be exactly the same role. He could know exactly what he's going to do. So
yeah,
but the touchdowns could go up just because Odunze is a deep threat,
and he's a good red zone guy too.
Yeah. So, but it's probably going to look about the same.
Keenan Allen's getting up there in age too. Like, could he he's going to eventually become a little bit of washed, right? Like, he's a great receiver, but time waits for no man. There's a chance that Keenan Allen doesn't look like himself this year. This is me just inventing possible narratives and shit, but I don't expect that to happen. But there are avenues where Odunze could have success here this season, I think.
Keenan Allen was brought into the Bears offense to give Caleb Williams that when shit breaks down, look for 13.
True.
That's what he was brought in for, because Keenan Allen probably going to be open. If you're looking at read 1, read 2, and Keenan Allen's your read 3, fucking sling it to read 3 because Keenan Allen's there.
Keenan Allen, this will be his year 32 season. He's 32 years old, just turned 32 last week. Played in 13 games last year. He had 108 catches for 1,243 yards and 7 touchdowns in 13 games.
That's pretty good. Incredible, dude.
Yeah, very good. He had 150 targets in 13 games.
Dude. Oh my god, dude. And that was a terrible year for Chargers quarterbacks.
It was, yeah. That's Easton Stick started like the last 6 games of the year, didn't he?
He did.
Number 4 for me is Brian Thomas Jr. I think he's a better receiver than like Xavier Worthy personally. I know a lot of your guys' Xavier Worthy love is because of Mahomes, which is very understandable. I like Worthy too. He's just lower on my list personally. I think Brian Thomas is the better receiver. I think he's honestly, I wouldn't say just as good of a situation because his quarterback is much worse than Worthy's is, obviously, but he's probably going to be their best wide receiver. I guess depending on how you feel about Christian Kirk. I don't think Christian Kirk's gonna be better than Brian Thomas personally. So I think it kind of just depends on if he can get some chemistry with Trevor Lawrence or not. And if he can, I kind of expect Brian Thomas Jr. to have a really good season. He probably will have a better season than Odunze. He probably. I definitely think he has a better season than Worthy personally. So I'm going Brian Thomas 4.
Number 4.
Yeah, Kai.
Yeah, it was tough for me. I wanted to put Brian Thomas there so bad too, but I kind of had to put Keon Coleman at number 4.
Love it.
Yeah, just playing with Josh Allen, I think Keon Coleman is immediately the best wide receiver in Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
And I think his play style is really going to benefit the way that Josh Allen throws the football. So I think Keon Coleman could be like an immediate contributor this year in fantasy.
I think he is going to be an immediate contributor. And Josh Allen asked for him. He's like he wanted Keon Coleman specifically. So it's like I kind of feel like people are giving the Bills shit for trading with the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs got who they wanted, the Bills got who they wanted. So it's like, who cares? If the Bills got who they wanted, fuck it.
I also think that Coleman and Josh Allen's personalities are going to mesh very well.
Well, Coleman seems extremely likable. He's hilarious. He's like, I think he's stepped in and immediately became like a top 10 funniest NFL player automatically.
Yeah, he's a funny guy, bro.
He's hilarious.
Yeah, because Josh Allen's like a big kid, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to bring in a big kid to play with him, play backyard football. We're on number 4, right?
Yes.
Number 4 for me is Rome Odunze.
Love it.
If it was DJ Moore and Rome Odunze on the Bears right now and Keenan Allen wasn't a part of it, I would probably say Rome Odunze is just situation wise would be flirting with number 2 to take Malik Neighbors' spot, if I'm being honest. And he's still in a good offense, so I think he has enough in his tank to actually produce a good fantasy season this year. Okay. Not starter worthy in fantasy, but like if an injury were to happen or you're thin on receivers and you need a flex, there you go. Rome Odunze.
Number 5 for me is Keon Coleman. Basically the same stuff that we just talked about, what Kai talked about. I think that he's going to come in and be an immediate contributor. I think he's going to be the number 1 receiver this year. I like Keon Coleman's potential a ton in Buffalo.
All right, number 5 for me. So I guess I'll treat this as a 5A, 5B, but obviously Rome Odunze had to fall there. And then 5B, I have Brian Thomas Jr. I really love the talent of Brian Thomas Jr. I do agree with you, Brian. I think he will be better than Christian Kirk, probably almost immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
was that your 5 and 6?
Yes.
All right. So number 5 for me is Keon Coleman.
Okay.
He's not physically as gifted maybe as the top 3 receivers drafted, and Xavier Worthy has a better landing spot, but I definitely think Keon Coleman has a chance to be statistically one of the better receivers in this draft class in fantasy football. I don't know how long that'll take, because he is the only, I guess, real starting caliber, like number 1 receiver prototype guy on the Bills. So we'll see how long it takes him to acclimate to that without really a mentor on the team to help him out. So it's going to be all his connection with Josh Allen and that offensive staff, like how fast they can get him along.
Might as well just use your number 6 right now, too.
My number 6 would be Brian Thomas Jr.
Okay.
Especially with the release of Zay Jones.
True. Yeah, we didn't really mention that. Yeah. So that helps them out too. It helps him out too. I mean,
yeah.
Number 6 for me is Worthy. Okay. Deep threat, Pat Mahomes, uncertainty about Rashee Rice. I think we already went over it. I think any of these 6 dudes honestly could be there. There could be there's potential for any of these 6 dudes to be like a top 20 wide receiver, including Odunze. I think honestly there are avenues. I think he's probably the least likely just currently out of situation alone, but I think there are avenues where all these guys could pop off this year. So I'm not saying that Worthy's bad. He's still like a top tier guy for me. Honestly, I think this is probably where the top tier guys end for me. This is top 6.
Yeah.
I'll just go ahead with my number 7 then, I guess. Number 7 for me is Roman Wilson. I think that might be a little bit of a hot take. I kind of like Roman. I think I like Roman Wilson as a player, don't get me wrong, but I specifically have him here because he went to the Steelers. I just really like that fit. I think that they're going to be able to get him. Granted, I know we're dealing with Arthur Smith here. But put him in the slot. I think he's a nice little shifty guy. I know he doesn't have like really long arms and stuff like that, so his target radius is kind of low. You're going to kind of have to give him an accurate pass. But I don't know. There's just something about that guy that just like screams that he's going to be like a talented NFL player, like an actual contributor to like a winning team type player. Like he probably won't ever have like 100 catches in a season, but I just think he's going to be like a really reliable slot guy for them. So I have Roman Wilson 7.
Number 7, I have Ladd McConkey. So Ladd McConkey is going to be the last of my personal list of guys that I think will contribute right away, like to fantasy. So Ladd McConkey, I really love the talent on him. I think he's like the perfect type of guy that'll, if you want like a high volume player for fantasy, like a guy that'll catch a lot of passes, I believe Ladd McConkey can be that guy.
Yeah, number 7's Ladd McConkey for me as well. Great landing spot and with the Chargers, and they need their wide receiver needy. So just him slotting in there and being like that route tactician could mean a lot for him in his rookie year.
McConkey's number 8 for me. Same reason you guys all. I would say him and Wilson are basically tied at 7, but I just gave Wilson the edge. I like McConkey's landing spot a lot, like you guys said.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's a chance that there's a very good chance he's their best receiver this year. There's a chance he's not too, but I mean, flip a coin with any of these guys. Who knows who's going to be their leading receiver? I think they all have potential too. So I think McConkey is a good add. He definitely could be higher on this list. He's 8 for me. 8 for you, Kai?
Ricky Pearsall. So I love the talent. I love the talent on Ricky Pearsall, but he's just, there's a lot of cooks in the 49ers kitchen. So
none of them stink. And none of them stink.
Exactly. Yes. But for Dynasty, I mean, with all this talk about potentially shipping away Debo or Brandon Ayuk eventually, Ricky Pearsall's prime game for Dynasty.
Love that. Love that.
We're on number 8. All right, number 8 for me is Xavier Legette.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, so he slots in with the best opportunity in the NFL to get targets. He could be the number 1 targeted rookie wide receiver in the NFL this year. Just because who else do the Panthers have to throw to? And I'll give you time.
Adam Thielen.
That's it.
Jatavion Sanders.
Okay. Anyways, and I also want to do an honorable mention. He's not ranked on this list, but he deserves to be. Number 8 for me would be Xavier Legette with an honorable mention to a Brock Bowers. I believe he's good enough to be on the receivers list and the tight ends list.
Okay.
That's how good he is.
All right. Number 9 for me, Pearsall. Basically the same thing Kai said. I think I like Ricky Pearsall more than like a few of these guys that we just named, but a lot of cooks in that kitchen right now for the 49ers. So is he going to get like immediate playing time? Is he going to sit back until they figure out Ayuk and Debo? I don't know. If he gets on the field, he would skyrocket on this list for me. He would be up a few more spots for sure. But I just don't know if that's going to happen right away. I don't know how Kyle Shanahan feels about him. So I don't know. There's like uncertainty for me with Pearsall. I just don't know how they're going to use him in the first season. So we'll see about that.
Number 9 is Xavier Legette. Pretty much everything Dylan said.
Number 9 for me is Roman Wilson. Same reason Brian said. Pittsburgh knows how to draft receivers. Big time. And there's a huge hole that Deontay Johnson left. That's who the Panthers have, Deontay Johnson.
That's who the Panthers have, Deontay Johnson.
Okay, yep. So that doesn't affect my ranking of Legette, though. I don't think. Because Legette is an outside receiver completely. So Roman Wilson going to the Steelers. I'm thinking high volume passing numbers in Pittsburgh this year. And somebody's got to catch the passes, and that's going to be Roman Wilson.
Solid blocker, by the way, too. Very solid blocker.
Michigan. Yep. He went to Michigan. It's a Michigan receiver. He's going to get his hands on you.
Great point, too, about the Steelers receivers, too. I didn't bring that up. Steelers have excellent track record receivers, especially in like the mid rounds too. They turn mid round wide receivers into Pro Bowlers like it's easy. So, great point there. Great point.
Yeah. Number 10 for you, Brian.
Number 10 for me. I love Leggett. I probably could go him there. I went Adonai Mitchell. I don't personally like him, but I also feel like I'm kind of being like a hater about him too, where I think that he deserves more credit than what I've been giving him the last few episodes. Goes to a position where the Colts have receivers. They're not like overly impressive. I kind of like Josh Downs. I don't know if he's good enough to keep Mitchell out of the starting lineup. Pittman obviously is the best receiver there. Who else do they have? Alec Pierce. There is an avenue where Adonai Mitchell could be the wide receiver 2 there pretty quickly. And we'll see if his talent wins out. There's definitely some question marks about him, but he is talented. He is a talented receiver. There's no question about that. So I have Adonai Mitchell at 10.
Number 10, I have Malachi Corley.
Okay.
Just a yards after the catch monster. He's been comped to Deebo Samuel. I like the landing spot. It's going to be a bit of a climb, but I think eventually in time we could see a year where Malachi Corley is potentially the number 2 or like the slot guy there.
The Jets traded up to get him too, so they like him.
Yeah, I really love the talent on him. Just get the ball in this guy's hands, and yeah, he's a rocket.
Man, number 10 for me is Troy Franklin.
I like that one too.
Solely based off the fact that I think the Broncos are thin at wide receiver going into the season. They got Cortland Sutton. They got Marvin Mims Jr. They got a new quarterback, though, Bo Nix, who played with Troy Franklin at Oregon. These guys already have chemistry, so coming in, I'm banking on that chemistry because Bo Nix is the clear-cut starter.
Mm-hmm.
So he's probably going to be looking for his buddy a lot.
Probably. Okay, I like that.
And Pearsall gets honorable mentions for me being super highly rated in Dynasty. He has little to no value this year in Redraft, though, I think.
Okay. Xavier Leggett would have been my 11th, by the way. That's my one honorable mention there.
11 was Adonai Mitchell for me.
Okay. All right. I think that's it. That was good.
Mm-hmm.